What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bitcoin and Altcoin Trading Talk, episode 45. We have Alex on mute here because he just always has technical difficulties, I don't know what his issue is. He's on mute right now. He's eating SpaghettiOs, dropping them all over his keyboard.
Yeah, no, I'm very technical, so technical difficulties are right up my alley.
Yeah, we can hear it. it's like kind of a feedback type deal.
And I can't hear you guys at the moment. I got to plug in my headphones. I think that was helping with the.
All right. Well, anyways, so we got that addressed. Hopefully, welcome to Bitcoin Altcoin Trading Talk, also known as BATT, the infamous BATT podcast. Hang on, Alex, I'm muting you.
What a start, man! These new participants are going to be like, "Wow."
Yeah, this is one of those rocky starts. So, anyways, my name is William Kale from Coinigy.com. Per usual, we have some fresh new faces today. We'll get into that, but as usual, I'll introduce Brian Beamish, the Rational Investor. How you doing tonight?
Fantastic! Totally stoked for tonight. Actually, and I love how people are like, "Oh, right, shows tonight," getting all stoked about it. So, this is beautiful what we do here. So, totally jazzed.
Oh yeah, I will say there's been a couple weeks where we didn't make it, and I feel so bad because people are tweeting, "Where's the show? Where is it?" But we're trying to keep it going here, guys. So every 2 weeks, Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, I'll get that out of the way before I say. I usually say it at the end. So, anyways, then we also have Alex Sterk from Blocktalk, who was muted. And we can't hear you now. Well, you can potentially see his face there down in the lower left-hand corner.
Hi, I'm Alex.
That was good. Why don't we introduce our new participants, Alex?
Yeah, we'll move on. So I brought a couple of the guys from the Coinigy team on tonight. So we have Byron Allen Penner. And Steve Anderson. So Byron, I don't know if you want to give like a quick intro or something, tell people what you do at Coinigy and a little bit about your past or whatnot, and then we can get Steve on there too.
Hi, I'm Byron. Happy to be back here again. I'm part of the Coinigy team. I work on the back-end infrastructure. Well, not the infrastructure, the back-end code. And there's almost a complete AMA up on, is it bitcoin.com? So
yeah, I think so.
I'll get around to finishing that, and I don't know. Just hanging out with these guys, having some fun here tonight.
That works. And Steve, how's it going?
Going well. Thanks for having me on. I'm work at Coinigy, do some front end stuff, some middleware stuff, development there, as well as done some instructional videos for Coinigy. I also have a podcast where I try to educate people about blockchain technologies called The Blockchain Show.
Which is also available at theblockchainshow.com, so definitely check that out.
Yeah. You can hear one we did 2 weeks ago with Byron was really, really funny, really good. Just check that out.
Yeah, awesome show. Definitely awesome. I would highly recommend that one. Cool. So what's new in the world of Bitcoin and altcoins? I saw kind of a funny article the other day where a guy that worked for the Federal Reserve got busted mining Bitcoins on a Federal Reserve server.
Well, that's
you guys see that one?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so he apparently, I don't know specifically what he was running, or I mean, it must have been some kind of powerful server if it was even producing any fruit. But he basically left in a back door, and then he was remoting in and from home or wherever he was at and mining Bitcoins, and they got busted, or I guess he caught wind that they were investigating him, so then he went in and deleted the software, and that's when they nailed him. But I don't know if there's any kind of larger message to that, but you would never really think somebody that works for the Fed would be
doesn't know how to check difficulty and figure out that you'll never mind anything even on a supercomputer.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it was like a Cray supercomputer or something. quantum.
I think we've seen lots of stories about it. Frankly, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, from my perspective, I've read. Remember there was a guy in a university campus that was
Yeah, it was like last year.
listed for that a little while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
there was a kid mining Dogecoin, and he was making like a couple $100 a day with a university supercomputer, but it was costing the university, I think, like double that.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. So it's just amusing that the Fed itself was caught up in it. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, well, they one of their investigators, and they were looking into somebody, and they wound up getting a lot of Bitcoin, and then they one or two of the investigators wound up getting busted for stealing coins.
Yeah, that was Silk Road. Yeah, one of the lead FBI guys, after I think, the case was kind of open and shut, moved a bunch of Bitcoin out of the FBI's wallet or something into his own wallet, something like that.
The Coen brothers are going to make a movie out of it.
Hey, I'd watch it.
Actually, it's cool. I often make reference to a scandal in the Canadian gold market back in the 1990s, and I heard that they're going to make a movie out of it. So all you guys are going to be familiar with Bre-X pretty soon. So yeah, I wouldn't. And actually, I'm a bit surprised that maybe it's because Bitcoin just hasn't gone mainstream. But you so know that Gox has got a fucking movie ready. Whoops, I said the F-bomb there. Sorry.
There goes our monetization. Just kidding, we don't do that.
You know there's
It's
going to
explicit.
be
Can you swear now?
Yeah, you can swear. We don't really have standards here, Steve. Don't worry.
Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah, the Gox thing. I mean, who do you think would play Mark Karpelis?
I don't know. Alex would be best to answer that. Actually, we have some really interesting characters in crypto anyway, eh?
Yeah.
I'm almost fearful who's going to play me. I don't even want to know.
I could see Brian being like, the host of, the narrator of the movie, and his ball cap going, "These were the days of Wild West."
No, you know what I'm gonna be? I'll be like Stephen King. When he makes when he sells his movies, he has to play a bit part. So I'll be like the preacher in the background or something like that, right, in the movie. Just because anyway, I don't know how we got down this tangent, but anyway, great to see you guys all again.
Likewise.
Totally awesome.
What's been new in the Bitcoin markets there? I really haven't been following. I saw a huge jump like yesterday, basically, but.
Yeah, well, I think what ended up happening was people kind of went after the whole China mess. I didn't really see, and it was interesting, through the event, I heard people saying that, oh yeah, legislation's been passed and laws have been passed and fines have been levied, but I didn't really ever see any actual, this person has broken this law or this new law has been put into place preventing Bitcoin business. I still really haven't seen anything to that effect.
Are you saying as far as China is concerned?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, basically, the PBOC came in and visited BTCC and OKCoin and basically said, show us everything you're doing. And then they said, okay, that's not going to fly. You're going to have to, institute fees and no longer do this margin stuff. And that's kind of it. When the PBOC comes in, you kind of have to comply, from what I understand. Yeah. So I don't know if they've even made a law. Who knows? Maybe they don't even do it that way. Maybe they're just like, this is what we told you to do.
It didn't have to come to that. That's what I'm pleased about, is we didn't hear any, if you deal in Bitcoin, you will be shot on the spot, kind of.
Right, good
that's
point.
The law now, right? Like, thank goodness it didn't get to that. Alex, you got something you want to throw into the equation here?
Well, it sounds like they're not going to be leaving anytime soon. I think they're going to be kind of monitoring them closely. But so yeah, they're definitely going to be keeping a close eye on everything. The volume's definitely dropped off since that was implemented, and now I think the main news today was OKCoin. It looks like there's one guy who's got like 40% of the futures contracts.
I've been seeing people talking about it, like 400,000 contracts or some crazy ass number. I don't even know what it is now.
Yeah, so I don't know if a lot of the contracts before were on borrowed money or something, but borrowing the margin.
I don't know either. I sure hope they don't have their short and curly caught in the ringer, though. That might be the undoing of OK Coin. It's totally possible. If anything, maybe, do you think maybe, because like, didn't we see a massive triggering of, I saw people putting tweets out and stuff to that effect about that news release on the breakout through the head and shoulders. Did you sort of see that happen? Like, actually, here, let's pull up the chart and just sort of, because, you know, obviously we've had a pretty big market state change here, right? So the breakout through, you know, we've been talking about this inverted head and shoulders for a while now. And lots of tweets and stuff going out, and obviously something very significant has changed here with regard to market state. And I seem to recall that all sort of kicked in, Alex, through this event, and I heard people talking about this 400,000 contract dude floating around out there. Any correlation? Anybody want to?
Yeah, there's definitely a link there. I think like Chinese money had to come back in somehow. So if it's not borrowed, I guess being in the futures market is the best way to kind of have leverage on the situation.
Could be. Anyway, you know, I think my general message to people is I just don't think it's a good idea to go and short Bitcoin right here. It could be a little dangerous. I think we're working our way up into a potential trade location. I'm kind of thinking we want to take a stab up into this area. And it was interesting because I even was putting these kind of charts out on Twitter, and to the effect, and actually I was getting responses back. Oh yeah, we're watching the 1088 level. I don't know whether you saw this. There's a guy who's working some interesting mathematical. And if you're watching this show, sir, he had a target. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He had a target 888. And then his next level, it was 1088. I'm not quite sure how he comes up with his math, but it is interesting how my harmonic, its target is about 1086 here. So I'm getting the funny feeling something is pulling Bitcoin up into this area up top here.
So should we hit that harmonic? Is that then just a huge bullish symbol at that point, or signal?
Well, it'll be the end of a move, right?
Okay.
A head and shoulders pattern in itself. You ever heard me talk about the parking garage?
Once or twice.
All right. And maybe you have, maybe you haven't. No big deal either way.
No, I have. I don't recall the specifics of it.
Price often moves in this sort of very parking garage kind of fashion. And I apologize if we've gone off on a quick tangent here, guys. Sorry to do this. But anyway, I just jumped right in. But if we take our little fib tool on Coinigy like so, and we just apply a 200% extension, in essence, that's basically what the head and shoulders pattern implies. Is it implies, if you think of price likes to move in levels. Anyway, I thought it was really interesting if we do a fib from these lows back up to this high, this battle point is basically 50% of the range. So I kind of think that price was kind of trapped in the lower half of this range. It is accepted above this pivot, 50% of the range. And, you know, it's basically telling you that it wants to explore up here. And, you know, a really fun tool, everybody watching this, I mean, take this shit down, man. It works. When in doubt and you're kind of like, what is likely to happen? The best thing for you to do is just look left. So in essence, as we're sort of, you know, let's say we're in this down move here, right? And price is cranking down. You think that maybe a reversal is coming in. Well, if you really want to sort of, you know, get a gauge of where the next sort of stopping point, if we're moving up, just look left and you see that this is basically just 2 bars, boom, boom. So if we can accept into this range, odds are we're probably going to have to work our way right back up into this range, and that's basically what price did here. Well, same sort of thing now, right? You want to just sort of get context, and this is why the head and shoulders is so important, is because now when a guy, you know, when price breaks out here and he looks left, he has to look all the way back to over here. And gee whiz, look, it's just one big honking candle. In fact, you could argue that if you look left and look back up to the previous resistance point, it's the top of this wick up here. So really, in the short term, it shouldn't surprise us that price is just rammed straight up into this level. Really handy tool. So there you go. Hey, everybody got your tutorial for the week right off the bat.
All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. But anyway, it was a lot of fun this morning. And for those people, I'm going to go on here. If somebody wants to say something, say it, or else I'll just keep going.
Nope, keep going.
Okay, everybody, I gave everybody the window, so it's not like I'm just blabbermouth here. I gave everybody the window.
We're more your pupils than your peers, Brian. So
no, that doesn't matter. The point here is, we got, like I started off the conversation, we got a very powerful market state and market in transition from one state to another message here. Very powerful, very rare. Right, when we have such a wide, well-developed consolidation, you could argue this is even a cup and handle, right? We've talked about cup and handle before. In essence, this was a consolidation, a ranging market state, and we're transitioned into a trending market state. Really, really valuable information that all of us can learn from here. Incredibly valuable. So the point here is, and this is sort of like the focus of conversation that we had in our lounge, in the TRI lounge today, was, we got this huge market state signal, but how the hell do you trade it? I mean, do I go long here and risk down to the bottom? Well, that's a good like $200-300. Can I even consider that on margin? Leverage trading? It's not realistic. So what do you do? And this is actually and this is the great part about our lounge, because we have this I've got now basically a small army of people that have been trained to think like institutions. And so literally I woke up this morning and the first conversation is, okay guys, how are we going to play this? And one of my site members is just beautiful. Chris, you're watching this dude. I was so impressed this morning. I put tweets out about him. I was just, he's and sometimes you run into traders like this. They just have the gift. You can just see it in them. And I'm almost envious, because I got to work like a fucking son of a bitch at this, man. It doesn't come easy. But some people, I had like Thomas, these people, it's just a natural gift to them, and it's beautiful watching them in motion. So wake up this morning, hey guys, how are we going to play this? Well, I'm thinking bullish. It looks like inverted head and shoulders. We're heading up, but how do we get in? Blah, 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 blah. Have you guys ever heard me talk about the BATT before? All right, probably once or twice. So in essence, that's basically what this is that we identified a range off of a market structure signal. And it was cool because in our daily brief today, we all just sort of went through the whole process of how we construct this, what are the levels, how do we trade this? And in essence, we just created a trading range here, and the BATT just breaks the trade up into a 3-to-1 risk reward. And you could see Chris is doing very, very nicely on his bot setup here. Took the trade like a champ. Just beautiful watching him in action, and he's reaping the rewards. Now at this point, we should be sort of trailing our stops using market structure, 3 high-low method, to just lock in profits. But you can see he's just angel's breath away from getting a fill here. We'll probably see a lot of back and forth here, and it'll be cool tonight talking with him in the lounge about how he's managing this winning trade. But it's beautiful. It's poetry in motion just watching it play out. Really cool. So that's kind of what we're doing. And what I would say is on the the fruition of this trade, which probably is going to push price up into sort of like a tag of the big fat round number around $1,000.
Okay, my man.
My hunch is at that point we have to let the market settle down again, right? We might have to go through some of this, let the cleanup happen. Let's wait for nice structure to develop so that we can take the next trend continuation trade on our sort of eventual working our way up into this high $1,000, $1,100 area. That's basic, so the viewers can understand what we're doing in the lounge, the kind of setups that we're hunting through the day. I thought this was just a beautiful example of us just, another day at the office. I was just, Chris, well done if you're watching this. Well done. Okay, so that's sort of what I'm thinking Bitcoin-wise now. I'd be really interested to see how we can sort of put this into context with things like SegWit.
Can I ask you what the purple lines are? I don't mean to jump in.
How
Those
do I
two
answer that?
matching parallel purple lines.
Yeah. Remember I talked about the parking garage a few minutes ago?
Yeah.
Price, in a weird sort of way, after a while as a technician, I don't even see it anymore. But what new people to technical analysis need to really sort of learn is that price moves in a very harmonic fashion. It actually moves from level to level as an asset gets repriced in the market. And it does so actually in a very almost predictable way, which, a lot of people go, oh my God, you're kidding me. No way, right? But this is what is called a harmonic pattern. And the name of it is the AB equals CD harmonic. And the BATT is, ironically enough, the BATT itself is a trading model to anticipate this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. Woo, look at price coming off here.
Whoa.
As we're doing this, right? This is so cool. I bet you somebody's running this going, let's see where we can get these
How can
guys
I
to
screw
really,
them?
crap their pants. So I would argue that now is when Chris needs to pay attention for market structure to start actually, locking in. If he hasn't, I wouldn't imagine, stop to trail, all these lows here. I would imagine if I talked to him, he probably got stopped out right there. But anyway, we'll get to that later. To answer your question, can you see how price has moved in almost like a very natural sine wave kind of fashion? You see that?
Yep.
This is very normal. This is what we call harmonics. And I would argue that the market wants to probe up into this area. It's so cool watching this incredible volatility right here. Maybe the market just craps out. And this is actually one reason why we like to have the move stop to trailing, because, at some point, we never know. We might just watch this thing crap right out here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why we have these
Crazier
rules
things
built
have happened.
Right. Well, this is why we have these rules built into these trading models to force us to lock profits in at some point. So interesting to watch this play out. And actually tonight, I'm going to be really interested to talk to Chris to see if he did lock profits in. But anyway, back to our story. If we just go on Google or something, but if you would like to learn more about this is a very common, what we call a harmonic pattern. The BATT is nothing more than a way to try and anticipate this harmonic pattern from developing, and how we would anticipate the ultimate AB equals CD and how we're going to play this. So the BATT itself is a bastardization and kind of it's not even really a pure harmonic play. Because according to harmonics, this level here actually is what we call the PRZ. And to harmonic traders, this level right here is the potential reversal zone, or where you'd actually start really looking for a trade location. So please don't infer that the BATT is the classic way to trade harmonics. In fact, any sort of harmonic aficionados that are watching this are going to be like, oh, the PRZ, this is where the reversal comes up. I fully concede that. This is just a way to make money from trading. And it's a way that works more times than not. And I got funded as a prop crude oil trader trading the BATT. It worked to the point where these guys said, here, take a bunch of our money, go trade with it. So, I think it's probably not long enough of a time here to fully explain how this BATT works. But the purple lines simply are a very natural harmonic way that price moves.
Like wave one equals wave two, basically.
Gotcha.
I'm just looking now across the different exchanges. It looks like a lot of the this dumping is coming from the American exchanges. The Chinese exchanges haven't really moved at all, which could be like
What's the one in the upper left there?
That's Bitfinex. So that's what I want to say. Is like I think Finex is trying to like kind of take control of this market now. Like if a lot of the lending's coming back and it's one of the more profitable exchanges, then you're going to see a lot more action happening on Bitfinex because it has the most margin available. Where like the Chinese exchanges now, the volume has dropped off a cliff. If I go back to like the 1 day here, you can see it's just the volume bars barely show up as like 1 pixel down here.
Yeah, just to give you guys some perspective as far as the Chinese exchanges, I mean, OKCoin in particular, as far as our back end is concerned in our WebSockets API, I mean that single market has been by far and large the highest volume market that we've ever seen. It's gotten to the point where we've had to beef up our servers just to maintain that market. And in a way, this has kind of been a blessing. I mean, it was, we're talking like hundreds of trades per second here, and it's been that way for years. And then now all of a sudden it's dropped off to a couple trades every second, a couple seconds here. So it's just been kind of interesting from our end.
I guess that's a validation about our fears over the months and years about the fake volume from China.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's.
And if anything, this is what I was sort of pleased about, was to hear from that kind of crap didn't need somebody coming in with shotguns and stuff and legislating. All Big Brother had to do was come in and say, hey, you guys, clean your act up. Right. So, but at the same time, if anything, I look at Alex's screen, 2 things jump out at me. Number one, does anybody see any sort of letters of the alphabet recently in price? Oh, no, the way it goes. Go back into that chart. Don't zoom out. You look there. Yeah, there. What is that? Is that an hourly chart? Is it
looks like a W to me.
This is a 15-minute chart, but yeah, you can see
the one in the upper left up there.
Or left here. This is 15 minutes as well.
All right. Well, 15-minute basis, I see a big fat M staring us in the face there.
Yeah. Well, and on the Chinese.
If you are trading these markets, look at the beautiful W that was put in there. Probably about, what is that? I guess that was about 6 hours ago. Yeah, right in there. Right, Alex's chart. Everybody, you're looking at wisdom charts here, and you should be able to see the M's and W's fairly clearly there. And then what I also noticed is look at Alex's volume bars. And this is actually a really cool idea, and this is the idea of volume impetus. So the question we want to ask ourselves is, who's driving the bus? And so, Alex, can you take your mouse and put it over that big red candle there? What was that volume on that candle there?
A little over 500, 570 something. Yeah, roughly.
All right, and now go back to the previous big red candle. Was that higher or lower?
Oh, looks like it's 590. So 590, and it's 583. So it's slightly higher.
So the
older one is slightly higher.
Yeah, the older one. So we're like seven Bitcoin short of breaking new volume on that bar, on the new bar.
All right. So really, I think, guys, we got to watch that level, right? You could even draw a nice horizontal line off of that level. If you see a volume bar, a red bar, that's above that level, that's telling you that the bear has woken up. If we just see that, whoops.
Sorry.
There we go. Notice on this move up, if Alex can bring his chart back, there we are. Notice on the move up, do you notice that the market made a higher high there? You see the little high print. But look at the volume bars. Something's not right. The volume bars did not make a higher high than the previous one, right? Right there, that one. You know? So that's basically an example of volume divergence. So little tells, just looking at Alex's wisdom chart, technically, of some things that we need to pay attention to. You know, that I also noticed too, right up at the top of this candle, there seems to be a little bit of a gap in the price. I wouldn't be surprised to see if price has to come up and actually fill in Alex's gap there. What is that? You said that's a Phoenix chart?
Yeah, this is Phoenix in the top left corner. So like this is a chart that I peek at once in a while for just quick view to see versus like the top two charts are Bitfinex and Bitstamp, and the bottom two are BTC China and OKCoin. Normally I watch Huobi, but Huobi's broken right now, so so I subbed in BTC China, and then yeah, you can get a real good flare if like a move has been confirmed by the other side of the ocean or not, or if it's one exchange doing something wacky, because sometimes Bitstamp has like a random wick, or you know, FedEx is having some random downtime, so it's nice to be able to compare on all the different time frames. You can see even like China made a high, what was it, yesterday, and it hasn't been able to break that high now. So maybe this could be a real big M here starting to come in.
Well, keep an eye out. I mean, that's a basic concept called market structure, and it really sort of frames what we should expect going forward. I've put the Phoenix chart here on my screen, this 15-minute. Actually, we can really see the M really well defined here. And actually what's really cool too, guys, is hopefully you can see that we actually have a head and shoulders here as well. Can you guys see the head and shoulders? Head and shoulders, knees and toes. Cute little head and shoulders. And if anything, what, you know, think parking garage, right? Our technical target should actually be an equal distance of the head and shoulders. So we could actually take a line just right back to the neckline and just sort of roughly, I mean, we could take some time and really examine the numbers, but can you see how this was actually a profit-taking location right in there? Isn't that interesting? You know, based on the head and shoulders pattern. So I find it fascinating that our little bullish bot, you know, had its stop to trail level hit. There's that gap that I was talking about a moment ago. You know, if anybody's watching this in real time, really interested in a level, I think this is probably a level to keep a real close eye on. And I suppose, you know, if the dust settles, assuming that this is the lowest low, I don't know. If we do reload zones, look at that. I mean, it's you guys probably have gotten to the point where you see these silly reload zones and it's almost like you see them in your sleep. It really shouldn't surprise us one bit that now we actually have both the top of the reload zone, and I always quiz you this every time, Will.
And I always get it wrong.
What do we call the 78.6 fib?
That is... It's either a line in the sand or Mountain Man. Well, it's not Mountain Man.
Yeah.
Mountain Man's 61.8.
You got line in the sand was your first answer, so way to go. You
Okay.
we'll give it to you. And actually, I think this is a great example, because in essence, you know, this is a good example of why I call this the line in the sand, because we've got this gap here, right? And this is actually going to represent a lot of supply right in here. You know, especially anybody that bought up through here, right? If they can get off and get out of these losing trades at scratch or thereabouts, they probably will. But, you know, just technically speaking, technically alone, gaps don't like to be left open. In fact, you know, we can actually determine a lot of price action here now. If we go and break this low of this candle here, then we actually have what's called gap and go. And you actually consider this as a continuation pattern. We go there to there. And then, in essence, gap and go is very violent. If we do that, then your target ultimately has to be down here. So interesting how that is also a line in the sand down below. Isn't that interesting, eh? So I did a really interesting pivot right here. And if we can rally back up, right, great reason why we call this a line in the sand, there's going to be a lot of supply that comes into the market right through here, right? In essence, you know, you could argue that this is a fractal right in here, and that's a break of this candle's low right there. This is an inside bar. A break of that low is a sell signal in itself. So we have a bit of supply that's sort of sitting up there. And you know these guys, right? This is the old doghouse. Oh, I just went and bought some Bitcoins here. I thought I was going to make $1 million. Oh, shit,
Oh, yeah.
oh, shit, oh, shit, oh, shit.
Yep.
Right?
Get out.
Yeah,
Abandon ship.
that was my that was our vacation money. What am I going to do now?
Well, there's always the casino, honey.
Right. So the point here is that this guy right now is going, just come on, let's bring it back. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Right. And he is so ready to hit that thing if he can. So real interesting battle going on here. It's a pretty wide range, but in essence, the market's actually defined. If we can accept back above here, then that means that the bears, right, this is their line in the sand, the reload short zone. It means the bears have lost control of this battle, and we might even see the market just ratchet right up, and we're a bull still, right? I got a funny feeling, right, considering this, I got a funny feeling this was a convenient little stop run. I didn't get just a liquidity push, and we still need to get up here to validate.
Yeah, it's already shooting back up.
Yeah, I that's my feeling. And it's interesting on this market, the bid stamp. Look at the size of the gap there, right? In fact, this is cool. Like we just talked about gaps. There's that gap on stamps, so they got these guys caught too. And there's a gap on the downside. So now you can actually see where the market's sort of defining a range here. There's the top end of the range. There's the bottom end of the range, right down in there. So I think, if anything, it looks like price is trapped in here. Because this does not have market structure bearishly, I still got to be looking for a push up here. Or I do. That's my hunch, but we'll see what happens. If anything, in the shorter term, right, this is a 5-minute chart. Shorter term sharky sharks, you know, keep a close eye on reload zones heading back up top. There. Oh, wow, look at that. Perfect, right? Line in the sand right up here is actually just into. I think if they can recapture this gap, I think she's heading back up to new highs. So let's really watch how she battles in here. And that's all these tails. You see all these tails in here?
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a battle point, and we actually have moving averages crossing over bearishly on the shorter time frame charts. So these are also going to act as resistance as well. So, wow, never a dull moment. Certainly wasn't expecting that.
Well, while we wait for it to resolve a little more, maybe we should take a look at a few altcoins.
Now that's what I call a segue.
Get into those crazy alts.
Yeah. So I added XRP because one of the guys in the chat said Ripple was looking good. But we'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky. It'll come up first here.
Didn't they just have some news today, Ripple?
That's news to me.
Abu Dubai said that they were going to use Ripple for some sort of testing. I don't know. I thought I heard that. Abu Dhabi, is that how it's pronounced?
Oh, sorry. We landed on Factum.
Factum, all right.
Which, if Bitcoin's been rallying, I can only imagine Factum has been cooling off heavily.
All right. Let's go look at a book and see what we got.
That's what it was. Sorry. Yeah, bank in Abu Dhabi partnered with Ripple to process their payments over there.
Cool. You got a link?
Front page on CoinDesk.
Okay. So why don't we look at Ripple next, if it's on the list, I suppose. Okay,
sure.
Let's see what we got here. This is Factum. Do we want to look at it on Polo? I don't know.
Yeah, we want that Polo.
All right, so, you know, we've done this on numerous occasions. People watching this video before will be like, oh, broken record. But, you know, if anything, it's probably best that you get the same message from me week after week. I like the idea of hunting longs on a double reload zones. They're always really sexy. If you can get like a triple reload zone, that's even better. And can you guys see how we have like a reload zone within a reload zone within a reload zone here? It's just incredible. So, you know, after a while, all the colors are going to blur everything out. But can you see all that? See how I did that, right? And everybody in the audience, you can do the same thing. It's not difficult, right? Just take your Fib tool at good old Coinigy.com. 61.8, 78.6. Make sure that they, if you're drawing bullish reload zones, that these numbers are near the low end of your range. And every time the market has a rally off of a low, draw your reload zone, right? And every time it rallies back up, draw your reload zone. And it basically, this 3 reload zone concept, what this really is. And actually, I think we saw Jumpbox do this. And we all know what happened to that Jumpbox.
Oh, yeah.
Party time.
Right? Have you guys seen me draw these wedges before? Right? I remember we did this on Jumpbox, and we were going out to the public. Hey, pay attention. You should be buying. Right? And Alex is sitting over there counting his big old stack of Jumpboxes now.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I just play with you. I got to keep myself clean here. Sorry, I could go off on a tangent. All right. Anyway, bottom line here is, technically speaking, to technicians, right? This is poetry. This is exactly what we want to see. Because in essence, this is when things are fluffy. This, sadly, is when the public's buying. Maybe we're a little bit early getting in here. And if you need sort of reassurance that, and here's a big fat M, indeed it wasn't quite ready. If you really want assurance that, hey, things are ready to go, this is basically what's called a triangle. It's a very normal way for price to consolidate. In fact, did you guys ever see my tweets about the stamp spirals on Bitcoin? And how the next spiral is projecting a $5,000, I think it's $5,600 target?
Yep, and I liked it.
All right, and a lot of people, obviously crypto enthusiasts were all like, woohoo, right? So the point here is that this is sort of the apex of a really big battle, right? You're not buying fluff, right? You're not maybe going to get paid for picking the bottom, but, as investors go, this isn't, it's a little bit expensive up here, but down in this area, I'd be more than happy to be a buyer. And in fact, I had lots of stink bids that were filled through the fall here, all through these names. So I know it's awfully hard to see, but let's just assume, right, for assumption's sake, that this is a half-decent trade location. You guys see, if we take the boxes off, right, do you see this beautiful little double bottom down in here? Remember, this was a reload zone right in here. Look at this beautiful W. Down, up, down, reversal. So, the market even gave you a nice opportunity within a really respectable reload zone to actually do some buying. Maybe you didn't want to buy the breakout level, right? You could always be cheeky. You see this rally and draw a reload zone off of that. And look how if you worked your bids right in here, you got filled on that day right there, right? That's just sick. So, this stuff, it does work, guys. It's incredible how powerful it is. So try and take advantage of it. The simple message that I have here right now is I do like the idea of being long this name. There's another little double bottom you can see down in this area. I love being long this name down in this area. Great. Little bit expensive up here. Could I see over the next month or two price work its way back down into that area? Sure. In fact, I would even say, guess what I'm going to suggest you do if you're interested in buying? How about a reload zone, right? And gee whiz, look where the reload zone's going to have you being a buyer again, right down in this area, right? Isn't that cool? So if I was going to be a buyer, this is the window that I would like to target, 25 to 27.9. So let's say 25 to 28, somewhere in that area.
Good deal. Has there been any news lately with Factum that you know of, Alex? Any kind of new governments using it to secure your vote or anything?
The only thing I know of coming up is they will be on CoinFest again, like an interview in April. But yeah, Byron is just so helpful here to post a link to their news page. Let me take a look here. I share my screen. You can see the most recent one being Homeland Security looks at blockchain to track people and goods across border. So I don't know if that means they got mentioned in this article, but
Or it just is related and there's no mention.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, it's Wall Street Journal. You're gonna need to subscribe.
Brutal.
Just go quick subscribe and we'll handle it.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
So, did the Wall Street Journal ever really talk about cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, from time to time. Usually it's Bitcoin. During the great blockchain discussion of 2016, it came up quite a bit.
Interesting.
I think all the sites are trying to get blockchain and Bitcoin articles because they get so much more viewers. A lot of people are looking for those type of articles.
All right. So, I like the name. I know it bought Alex his little truck last year, right?
Yeah.
So it's been kind to the community, no doubt about that. So, I certainly don't have a trade right now, but, on any kind of weakness over the next month or two, if we start seeing some momentum, volume turn signals, price structure turns, I've given you the levels that I would watch.
Yeah, and again, it's really dependent on Bitcoin. So if you start seeing, more bearish long-term signals in Bitcoin, which I don't think anyone does, but you can sometimes see the correlation in the Factum chart being ready to kind of turn up. So that's where I usually watch it too, it's part of my main ritual to figure out what I think Bitcoin's going to do versus kind of the status of the altcoin market. I feel like they're kind of that ebb and flow.
And actually, considering that Bitcoin is rallying here, it kind of makes sense that Factum's got a nice little pullback window to play with here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I would imagine, very simply put, if Bitcoin breaks out to new highs, right? Because we really haven't broken out per se. I know a lot of people are like, hey, but Chinese market, I still watch the U.S. denominated markets. Until they actually break out through those old highs, we haven't broken out yet. So, I could very easily see the test of those highs is that sort of reload zone on Factum. If Bitcoin does break out, then I can understand why Factum would crap out then. So that makes sense.
Good deal. Let's get back on that crazy wheel.
Oh, we're just gonna take a quick peek at Ripple, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
For posterity.
XRP?
Yep.
Oh boy. Well, the problem here is the darn thing keeps making lower lows, eh? Painful.
Yeah.
I want to be bullish of this game. I can definitely see it. I think the last time we looked at this, right, we had this structural failure here. So let's try and clean ourselves up. Okay, we got a W. The guys that bought off the lows end of the range, they're taking some profits in here. And then, big fat M in your face. See you later. Boo. So, the problem here is that this is kind of like, at some point, the market's going to be like, you know what? You got to show me that you're real before I start throwing more money at you. And the fact that they took it down here, look at this big old honking tail there. Ugh. See how it left the tail here and eventually had to work its way and eat that darn tail. So I don't like the fact that they left this big old ugly tail. Do we want to look at it on Bittrex?
Bullet's got margin on it, so that might be why you're seeing a lot of wicks and tails there.
Well, there's the tail on Bitterex. Oh boy, right down to 10 ticks. Oh Jesus. How low does that go? Oh boy, that's not encouraging. Anyway,
could be an API glitch too.
Yeah, if you are a Ripple bull, right? What you really need to see is you need to see some sort of firming up here. I could very easily understand that traders, and I'm kind of doing the same thing right now with, I took stabs off of Litecoin, just seeing whether these recent lows will hold. I really don't like the size of this tail. That's bothersome. But you can see if you wanted to take long stabs, I think probably a test of these candle body lows right in here, this low, and then the open of this, that's sort of your floor, and she might dip in and eat a bit of this wick here. But this, you know what this is called? This is called trying to catch a falling knife. So actually, I don't know if I'm even showing my screen. I hope I was. But anyway.
Yeah, you are.
So, if you are interested in the Ripple story, this is probably the area I would be focusing in on. If you're lucky and you get a nice tail eat and you're trading this thing, try and maybe let counter trend rallies, give you opportunities just to maybe take some profits against the highs here. And bring your average cost up and maybe even put your stop at scratch and just see where the hell this thing goes. For people that are trying to trend follow, what's the story? I really don't like the fact that these, this is a major structural top in this name now. If we do, wicks and tails like to be eaten, right? They did that, right? And now they got this big old honkin' close, open right up here, and then close, open right up here. So there's not even any real wicks for us to really stab up into here. They've already been eaten. There's, I guess, a little bit left there, but all right. Well, so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, on Ripple, I think as a business, Ripple is very successful. Like they're definitely working within the existing fintech space and getting these good partnerships. But Ripple as a network, I know we saw a report recently that I guess there was a lot of flaws in their code base. And then Ripple as an asset, well, we're not really seeing much reason to store value in their asset. So
there's
right. It seems like it's more just a medium to transfer, as opposed to a store of value.
Yeah.
When I look at reasons to own Ripple besides as value, like for their network, you need I think like 20 Ripple to create an account. Well, are banks creating one account for their entire system, or are they creating one account for all of for every one of their customers? Like I don't really see a lot of buy demand coming from like that only fundamental driver. There just doesn't seem to be a lot of demand for the token itself within their network.
Just a quick question. Since Stellar is fairly similar, what does that look like in comparison? How are they doing? And is there
that'd be
relation?
Who?
Stellar, STR.
STR?
STR? Yeah, it's STELLAR.
Because like Ripple is born out of a Silicon Valley startup, and I guess there was a lot of egos going on there, and one of them split off and created Stellar out of like the same code base.
This is a good example, wicks and tails, right? This market's trying to go down and slowly eat this big old honking tail here. And really, if anything, maybe we're seeing the same anecdotal evidence out of XMR and this thing, because you see this nasty M's here, right? That's nasty. You don't want to see that. I suppose we could argue that the bull's back if we can start putting in W's, nice market structure signal through here would be nice. But lots of resistance right up against these levels. Certainly, no trade for me here. Has this thing come down a long way?
It's starting to look like it.
Yeah. So, just in fact, I put out a tweet recently. I said, you want to simply find out whether your investment is half decent? Dude, take the investor test. Take your asset that you're interested in, put on the weekly chart, change it to the line chart, and tell me what letters of the alphabet do you see. In fact, I think I even did this. This looks damn familiar. I see a little bit of a W in here, so I can understand bullish cases we're working through here, and then, big fat M here. Boom. Then more sort of attempted WE type action, but then an M, boom. And then just a straight rally off the lows, and I don't like the look of what's happening here. Are we starting to make another M here? As long as this thing keeps looking M-y, bless you, I have a really hard time risking my money in this thing. And do I dare ask how many coins are out on this?
Oh, it's in the billions.
A ton.
Yeah, I mean, if I ever put a chart up on Coinigy and there's just a question mark, I know that, you know what, maybe let's just leave it alone. And, that's half of our problem that we have to deal with here, guys, and everybody watching the show. does our coin itself actually, to the underlying company that's using it especially, does it actually have to have any intrinsic value? You know, and that steam it, oh my God, that was a nightmare. Because I watched people putting 0.5, 0.10, some half decent money right up at the top, thinking, oh yeah, it's going to the moon, right? Circle jerk, all that kind of stuff. And it just absolutely cratered. And then I found out later on that the steam it token actually doesn't have any intrinsic value. And you're just like, wow, so these people bought this asset when it was way up top? And had they done some due diligence, they would have found out that the asset itself has no value. Yeah. Uh-oh. So, be careful when you're doing your due diligence. I think I was on one of Alex's shows. I can't remember recently, but I remember somebody in this space saying recently, you want to keep yourself out of trouble in this game. For God's sakes, buy one of these things that actually is a utility that's used for something in the real world.
Yeah, but that's the inherent problem, identifying those.
Yeah, well, there are some really cool stories out there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's, I've said this before, too, and obviously over the years now it's been that we've been doing this podcast, I've been seeing a lot of just innovation. People are actually trying to put altcoins to use and trying to solve problems. So it's cool to see it's not just another Bitcoin clone or Litecoin clone.
Yeah.
I love it.
5 minutes.
I still don't understand it, but that folding coin, how it's supposed to be actually used in DNA sequencing or something like that, I still can't quite figure it out, but I thought that was so cool.
Oh, I think it piggybacks on another network and monitors the amount of work you do.
Ah, cool. Yeah, and what was cool is I watched this contest, and I think it was somewhere in Europe where all these people had to bring their ideas of how to use blockchain, how to use crypto in various applications. So you can see it all over the world, right? Somebody's going to build the better mousetrap. Somebody's going to figure out how to let my little old lady actually use crypto in the real world rather than just trading the shit out of it. Right?
Right.
You guys are supposed to laugh there.
I just gave you a solid head nod.
Okay. Anyway, I thought this was really cool. Before we move on, bots in motion, right? You guys tonight got to watch the bot in motion, and where does Chris have his trail stop to trail kind of thing yet? I thought this was interesting. Before we move on, we're in the altcoin space. Here is a potential bot that's actually in the process of forming. I thought it was so cool. I was working with a student earlier tonight, and you can literally see how the market is setting up the trade off of this range. Can you see how we stabbed up into this? This is the 25 level is the bot entry level, right? That's just like here, 25 entry level. Isn't that cool how you can literally see the market setting the trade up here on its own? I love how it was seeing this happen. So
Man,
cool.
you really love those IO coin guys.
Well, you know what I like? I like to see a nice, well-run story.
Mm-hmm.
And, personalities aside, there's some interesting characters involved, and you've heard my comments about it before. But these guys know what they're doing. They do know what they're doing. So I do like to see that out of them. So.
Yeah, I look forward to their success too. Like comparing Ripple with they have a good company, but not so much network and asset. Like IO Coins definitely got, I think, a much more well-rounded kind of trio there. Like their token and their network, along with their team, has good value, and that's why you see that continuing pattern on their chart.
Yeah, well, higher highs and higher lows defines a bull market.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I'm going to do something kind of funny here, so bear with me. But somebody tonight said I'm supposed to drink a glass of milk on the show. I'm not quite sure what it means, but JC, this is for you.
Hang on, let me full screen that.
So
You got to do the whole thing, Brian.
Okay, fine.
Where's the Oreo?
Silence. Everybody be quiet.
Chug.
Will he do it?
Done.
All right. Good job.
I left the fridge door open because I had to run over and get it and come back. I gotta go close the fridge door. Anyway, JC, that one was for you.
What's up, JC?
Looking at some of the other news that came out today, I guess Coin SC, they're releasing some sort of hardware. What's it called?
What exchange is this on?
It's on Poloniex. SC is the ticker, but they're doing some sort of hard drive. Oh, Jesus. They're doing some sort of like a hard drive product for people to participate in their network. Basically, you buy this box, you can store stuff on it, but it also stores it distributed on the network. So like little old ladies who want to back up all their photos, they can easily, I guess, purchase this and participate quite easily. So that's kind of adding more to like the use case and everything. And I was looking at the chart, and I think just a little bit of a peak up there, but it just looks like it's got a pretty good level at the moment.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. You know.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, and this is kind of what and actually this is kind of weird. Whoa, look at that, eh? Woo-hoo. So
I'm not sure what happened there. That might have been the case of us grafting data on, or something, or a delisting, or something like that. Probably a delisting and then relisting.
Yeah. So off of this range here, right? This nice, beautiful structure here too. So I can understand what Alex sees here. Right, we got a pretty half decent base down in here. Big rally, right? Can't chase it. Not allowed to chase it. Market works its way right back down. Interesting how it tried to turn at the line in the sand here, lost it, then came back. That's resistance off of this level. And then we came down. We ultimately put in this cute little bottom down in here. Kind of a V in a. I guess, you know. Can you see how we could easily come down and maybe kiss that level on some sort of pullback? Yeah, the problem here is it's awfully tough for me to chase these. I certainly couldn't buy it up here, but I don't have a problem working stink bids down against this level here. What's the supply like?
It's a fairly large supply, hence the low pricing. Like we're in sub 100 Satoshi pricing.
Yeah, it looks like we don't have that data.
And is it POS?
No, I believe it is proof of work because I hear people merge mine with Ethereum. So you can kind of, yeah, it's running on graphics cards.
So I think we got like a half decent little trade that came out of here, right? And of course, you got to have your nose to the grindstone. What's the fundamental drivers? Do we have things like divergences and stuff? Yeah, you can. Wow, actually, interesting. We had interest. Wow, okay, so wicked divergence. Look how price made lower lows here, but our momentum indicators did not. Nice bottom in OBV. Jonathan, if you're watching tonight, that's probably your signal right there. And notice that was also on that original double bottom, that little OBV bump up. In fact, if we do volume impetus, right, there's probably, let's see what that candle is there. 484 million? Ay caramba, this thing must have a gazillion out. So this bar here, 382. So here's a good example, guys. This is a rising impetus. Do you see how the volume keeps rising? And as a result, price keeps rising. Yeah, you guys ever heard the expression volume leads price? You guys ever heard that expression? So if not,
I think I've heard you mention that one.
All right. You know, OBV is sort of our little tool to sort of visually see the battle in volume. That impetus, we talked about that earlier tonight. Whenever we see rising, in this case it's green, that means that whoever green is bull, so that means the bull's nice and active here. And you can you see, let's see, Will, I know you can see this in your sleep. Steve, can you see this W down in here? Down, up, down, and breakout, right up and through here. Can you see that structural turn there in OBV? What do you think?
Yep.
All right. So this is a pretty powerful signal to us that, hey, the buyers are back in town. So interesting. Got a bunch of, positive internals here to support the idea of the trade down here. I don't know if we, here is price right now. We're not in a trade location. We've rallied off the lows. The guys that took this trade, 25 ticks. So there's 50. Did it hit 50? 49. Oh, what's the breakout here? 25. Oh, so anybody who bought 25. And interesting, look at all the price action below 25 here. Right, so all these guys that bought down in here on the breakout and stuff, they all got doubles off. Anybody who bought at 25, there's probably a huge offer.
That's why I always say sell half just before a double. Because everybody else is selling half on a double.
And actually, one time recently we had a coin rallying, and it was so obvious. You could literally see the double level, and price ran up right to it. And you could see on the dawn, there was just this fucking wall of sell orders just sitting there. And there was just no way it was going to go through there. So, anyway, build your trading plan accordingly. I don't have a problem if you want to sell, 3/4 on a 3/4 of a move and keep the other quarter. I don't care. Whatever works for you personally. There is no sort of set rule. In fact, I worked with a bunch of students back when altcoins were just going nuts back in 2013. I don't know whether you guys even remember that market. And it was just incredible, just the garbage coins. I got suckered. One of my first buys was a coin that actually Bitterx just delisted. But anyway, I held on to it through the whole damn thing. But anyway, the point here is that this gentleman, he had a rule, sell 1/3 on a triple. If it works for you and you can consistently book triples, then great, go for it. For me, I like nice and simple, sell half on a double. It seems to work well for my personality. Okay, so the point of the matter here is now, can I buy it? No. Not necessarily a breakdown in volume, but, volume impetus, can you see how the bulls are backing away here?
Yep.
Where are all those buyers? Remember we saw rising bars here, but now we see falling bars. This is a little bit dangerous. If we see the red bars, the bears step up, that could be trouble, right? Momentum, actually here, guys, great example of a bearish divergence. I swear, man, every single chart has something to teach us. So can you, let's go with Byron. Byron, can you see how price made higher highs here? Higher high. But then we look at our momentum indicator and we see that it made lower highs. All right. This is another sort of internal sign that, I'm not nearly as strong as you think I am. Can you see that?
Right. I think below that on the bottom end of your upper line, you can probably figure out a decent base point.
Okay. Just really all I want is for, and by all means, if you see it, great. If you don't, no big deal. We'll sort of work through this. It's just the simple fact that price was making higher highs, but our momentum indicator wasn't. It is a sign of divergence. It's a sign that, hey, maybe price isn't as strong as you think it is. And indeed, we look at the other side and we can see that price is kind of drifting here. We'll get a momentum signal if we get a nice little market structure bottom come in here and a push back up. That would make sense. But can you see how, our volume indicators kind of stalled here? We need to see, come on, buyers, step up and do some buying, right? It's as simple as that. And, resistance points, probably if we do fibs. Yeah, I mean, this thing ultimately probably has quite a ways to go. I could see, if anything, the market's setting up for a nice little test of these highs heading into the spring, summer. Do you see this big old wick right up here, right? Mm-hmm. And the reload zone, what a shock, they happen to line up, right? So we could very easily see the market stab up, eat a wick right up in here, and that would actually be a rally right up into the top end of the range, right? Very realistic.
Does the conversions of the white line, the green line, and the red line, what are those, like
the white line, green line, red line, these moving averages?
They're all going to converge in the near future. Does that have any significance or no?
Yeah, what I like to call that a moving average sandwich. And the reason why I like to follow these particular moving averages is because they work really well for identifying trade location. You notice how market stabbed here and jackknifed away, then came back down, then lost it, then came right back here, right? And, you know, if we look at the moving averages here, short term, you know, I love using these moving averages because price really likes to obey them. I kind of think what you see, and that's a great observation, right? Let's zoom out. Let's get rid of all these drawing tools. I like the thesis that we could be trapped in a moving average sandwich right here. I like that thesis. We have a bullish moving average cross right here, suggesting that in the short term, the market is in a bullish short-term trending state. We might get a nice little consolidation. In fact, can you guys see, you know, from our talks just probably, I guess, about a half hour ago, a potential AB equals CD harmonic continuation.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Who asked that question? Was that Steve?
That was
you?
Steve, yeah. That was me.
Right, so can you see how if, you know, and this is our bullish bot, if we wanted to try and trade this, right, we'd identify whether we had 33 to 66. Just bear with me here and I'll get this done. Boobity boo, boo boo, and get rid of that. And do we have that drawn correctly? Yep, looks good. All right, so there is your initial move. Do we get a 33? Yes. Do we get no more than 66 so far? And if this is indeed a consolidation, nice trend consolidation here, then, and this is going to be a trend continuation setup, then the bot's going to basically frame our levels that we can use to trade this on the long side. Oops, that's backwards. Like so. Look how the market, Steve, right? Can you see how the market is setting up this 25 level here?
Yep.
So we actually have a rule that we have in technical analysis land, and that's the 38.2. Will, what do we call 38.2?
You got me.
Putting you on the spot, sorry. We call this the first stop target. And fib-wise, markets love to come back to the 38.2. And an old veteran, gnarly New York Stock Exchange trader, actually he was a New York Commodity Exchange trader, Ray Burchett, used to always tell us, do not make a decision about the market state until 38.2 has been resolved. So he says that you got to wait for this level to be resolved before you make your decision. Can you see that if we get, you know, and I don't know whether you know this or not, but new lesson for you here. W's are bullish, right, where we're going to look to buy here, trend continuation, and it implies an uptrend. And M's are bearish, right, where basically that implies a downtrend, right? We get a sell signal right there. Can you see that here's 38.2? If we do this and fail here, what letter of the alphabet is that going to be? Anyone?
W. Z.
That's a lamb. Come on, guys. You got to indulge me. Anyway, that's a big M. Up, down, up. We lose this level, big fat M. If, however, 38.2, Ray Burchett, we rally up, we come back down, and we W here, that's a buy signal. You see the W?
Yep.
And that just so happens to be right off our bot level. I love how the bot does that for us. So in essence, we're at a battle point here. We can be trend traders, momentum traders, and trade the bot. And that's basically what Bitcoin did here. Remember we showed you this higher time frame setup off of this W. See that, Steve? You with me?
Yeah. Yep, I'm with you.
All right. And this is how the trade progressed. Fascinating to watch this. Absolutely incredible. This is one that could potentially fire. Trend continuation, your momentum trading. Where's our most recent one? Where'd it go? There it is. I don't know how this is going to play out. It's not a value play. This is a momentum play. If you're going to buy this and you're going to trade this, you're trading the momentum of the market. You're going to risk against this level here. You're going to enter here, and your target is going to be up here or your 200 period moving average tag. Does that make sense?
I suppose you could make a little bit of money by putting some sort of like stop loss at the bottom.
Well, that's the key, right?
Yeah.
So if you enter here, and like when I was prop trading, everything you do is on the DOM, and all the orders are entered what they call AOCO, or automatically order cancels order. So if I enter a trade right here, boom, instantly my stop loss is entered one tick below this low. Instantly, I have no choice, right? I'm a margin trader, leverage trader. Live by the sword, die by the sword. If I'm wrong, I want to get the fuck out of there and cut my losses. Does that make sense?
That's interesting.
Does that make sense, Steve?
It does, yeah.
All right. Now, the cool part about the bot is it has built-in rules to try and cover your ass. And basically, 50% level often lines up with the tag of this previous high. So if I'm ever trading the bot, the first and most important level I want to see hit is this 50% level. Why? Because at that level, I can now move my stop to scratch or break even. And the absolute worst thing that can happen on this trade setup is I walk away at scratch. Does that make sense? So, you know, on Bitcoin, right? And actually we did this. Where's Rob? Like Rob actually used one of our bot targets to actually sell a bunch of Bitcoins.
Yep.
And we did, Steve, go back and watch these shows through the fall. We had like a higher time frame bot that was working off of Phoenix, and it was like show after show. Bots long from here. Hey, move to stop to break even level was hit. Woo! Worst case that happens is we get stopped out at scratch, right? And then the market just goes sideways for a month or two, and you're just sitting there, and people are like, what's happening with the bot? And I'm like, well, you just have your stop at scratch. There's nothing you do, right? And it just keeps working away, right? And then all of a sudden, all out of nowhere, Bitcoin price explodes higher, right? And then everybody's like, woo, right? So the point here is that the bot gets you in when things are just developing. And by the time we get to this point, the pros that did all the sweating that went along here, they are move stop to scratch, so they're not going to get burned if this thing craps out. Move stop to trailing, now I can actually start locking in profits. And as higher highs and higher lows are made, I should be moving my stop up respectively. And I think that's basically what should have happened here. Is it doesn't look like the bot target was hit. We're actually getting breakdowns here. I think on balance, you should have been stopped out. And even if you aren't now, then if I, like, let's say went to sleep and I woke up and I was like, oh, this is a situation, I think I might just blow it out and take this profit and just walk away.
Good deal. Hey, we should probably get one more fancy alt in
am I
here.
talking too much? I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're good. I just figured this would be a good segue to get back on the wheel. Got to get at least one more in there.
Did I help you at all, Steve?
You did. Thanks for explaining all that to me.
Okay, cool. Because I'm sure there's probably viewers out there with exactly the same questions.
I mean, is there like if you're a beginning trader, is there some sort of rule to how much of, you know, what you're willing to risk on a particular trade? Like what percentage of...
In fact, I have 2 rules of investing that it took me 25 years of being a broker, being a prop trader, being an individual investor myself. And I was able to distill the entire investment process down to 2 simple rules. Number
Save
one.
us all the time then, eh?
Pardon me?
Save us all the time then and let us know so we don't have to spend that much time working out the rules.
Well, you could always take my course, I suppose. But the rules are really simple. The problem is that they're so simple that people often discount them. They just go simple like this, right? Number one, you're going to use some sort of algorithmic approach to your investment decision-making process. And you want that algorithm through your back testing, through your vetting, you want that algorithm to produce desired results a good 2/3 of the time. If you can get into that 60% accuracy and you're hunting setups that pay you $2 every time you're right, but you only risk $1 if you're wrong, then you will make enough money to hit any objectives that you set for yourself. It's a very profitable model. A lot of setups like the bot you see on the screen here, they are a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. So if you're right, in this case, you get paid $3 for being $1 of risk taken. So, you know, and identifying what setups work best for you, what risk rewards you want to work with, and percentage accuracies and all that. Really, all I want is you to have like 3 reasons to take a trade. And when you vetted out your system, it produces, I mean, at the very least, a good 55-60%. That's what we call our edge. If you can get up into the 60-70%, I think through rational analysis, I think you can, then you'll make all the money that you need. But the key here is you have to understand you're going to be wrong 34 to 40% of the time. And that's the hard part that most people can't handle. Now, how do you handle that? And the answer to that is what we call risk management. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the actual asset you're investing. It has everything to do with the relative size of the risk of the position that you're putting on in relation to your entire stake or what you have to work with. And Brian's number 2 rule of investing is you never, ever, 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 ever risk more than 5% of that stake on any one single idea. You follow those 2 rules of investing, and it actually becomes difficult to lose money. You know, in essence, you know, for demonstration purposes, we started this, and Will, I mean, we've been doing these videos week in, week out.
Oh yeah.
And we started this, this model, just following this very simple plan. Buying and selling these altcoins and following those 2 rules, and we've taken $500 and turned it into like $7,000-8,000 just following this really simple model. So ironically enough, you want to know how to win at this game? I just gave you the answer. The question is, can you create an analytical methodology to how you risk your money in the market? And can you obey risk management? It's just that simple. So you asked, and I answered.
Good deal. Okay, let's get back on that wheel. One more.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just, you know, if nobody says it.
Yeah, I just want to let it on NXT.
NXT? That's not funny. We were talking about this in class today.
Nexium, I think it is. It's one of the new ads to Polo. So we actually covered this on the last show, I think, too.
Yeah, we've talked about this recently. I mean, I'll give a big shout out to, actually, you know what? And this reminds me, I'm actually glad this was brought up, because Alex is a big shout out to you. He and I were chatting today about you.
Oh, yeah.
This is Alex knocked the cover off the ball in this thing. He banged out a 10Xer on this thing.
All right.
Can everybody see the W down here? Actually, Steve, you know, you've only been here 1 day. Byron, can you see the W? Watch what happens when I change this to a line chart. Down, up, little bit of an M, but down, did not go through those lows, came up, and breakout. Can you see the down, up, down, breakout? Kind of tough to see here. Watch what
I can see it.
Like
I think Steve's muted right now.
Is that a little easier to see now? Down, up, breakout. Look at this cute little W right in there, right? Can you see that? So the point here is that, you know, I had a number of people on the site that were watching this, that were really interested in this. And I remember Alex in particular. I think he paid for the course with this one trade. And and Alex, you grinded me for the discount too, right? Because you remember Alex came back from Europe and he's like, I got this guy, but anyway. So Alex is a hell of a capitalist. He's a real character too. Hey Alex, I know you're watching. Great trade on this trade. And like I told you in class, like I told you in tutorials, and like I'll tell the entire darn community watching this video, print this screen off. Just print it off. Do it now. Hit print screen now. Why? Because this is the shit. It's just that simple. I don't mean to be rude. I apologize. But I mean, and what's really cool actually is, I don't mean to be off topic, but we even had this cute little setup on Litecoin the other day. Same sort of thing, where we had this. This is what they call an inverted head and shoulders, right? Down, up, down, breakout, right? There's a little head and shoulders pattern, and it went pop right up into here. Looks like they're washing some stops here. Interesting. But basically, same sort of thing on this little guy, right? Down, up, breakout, right? I mean, if you want to just be focused on principles that work in the marketplace, there's the image right there. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was also on volume too. Oh, actually, I guess we got it here, right?
Where's your volume? Oh, yeah.
So, we were talking earlier about OBV, right? If you see W's in OBV, that's a good sign. This is I think somebody was asking, or maybe it was in class, somebody was asking. But can you see how we have this bullish structure in OBV happening with price? So, here's, I think, a good example where volume leads price. So, yeah, that was a great trade, Alex. Well done. Hats off. The sad thing is now, right, you can't buy it now, right? Trade's over. If anything, if you did want to buy it, then you got to start hunting reload zones, heading back down. And do you guys see, and we were just talking about momentum divergences before, can you see how the market made a higher high here in price, right? Big ass spike higher here. But you notice how, and we don't have that much data to work with, but even just the data so far, this high was not higher than this high. So already, we're already starting to get potential signs that, hey, maybe price isn't as strong as you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to squeeze in one more, or are we gonna call it?
Yeah, let's get one more out there.
All right, I'll get the wheel here. Oh, wait a sec. Did I delete the wheel? Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Well, maybe that's.
Well, I got one because I'm personally curious about it too, and PASC coin. What do you guys think about that one?
Oh man, this is like the crave of the new wave of altcoins. This just it would not stop.
Yeah, it's PASC.
PASC?
Yeah, I think we only have it on Polo maybe when they recently listed it.
Yeah, it was on Cryptopia before for quite a while, but yeah, you guys, I don't think have.
No, I guess there's really not much history though.
Yeah, not much to go by here.
I just mainly wanted to bring it up because I wanted to hear Byron's thoughts on a PASC coin.
Are you just trying to get me to go off on something, huh?
There must
as well
be
end the show up on a
an
rant.
inside joke there somewhere.
Well,
No, it's just it's programmed in an old school language, basically.
Oh, Pascal! I used to
Pascal.
program in Pascal years ago.
Oh yeah,
that should tell all.
we've all done our time in Turbo Pascal.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Don't knock it.
I haven't seen it. In fact, I joke with people. That's how we tell how old Brian is. I used to back on mainframes.
90s.
Yeah, they were still teaching it when I was in high school.
Well, that's cool. Oh yeah. Well, you can see, even out of the gate, right? If you were W hunting, right? Cute little W in here. I'm like working at the hourly chart. Nice little consolidation in here. This is a great example of our momentum trade kind of again. We could probably blow up this price action in here and find a bullish bot setup that would have taken you up into this area. And even, probably good example. Let's see what we got here momentum-wise. Oh, nothing really to write home about there. Here is actually a really good example of Willie being stupid. So we have this indicator on Coinigy and called the Willie here. And anytime you see the Willie get up above overbought levels, and can you kind of see how we're putting in these M kind of structures in the Williams percentage R indicator, this is kind of a warning sign. You know, be careful. When we saw Bitcoin just rally recently, right, the Willie indicator went stupid. So it was just a great example that, hey, things are almost done. So, you know, not looking at MACD. Well, even looking at MACD too. Wow, son of a gun, look at that. So can you see on the MACD, right, how we went to higher highs in price. So here's another example for you. I think who was I asking earlier? Byron, was I asking you? Higher highs in price, lower highs in momentum, momentum divergence. Does that make sense? So lots of warnings up here. Be careful, be careful. And then what letter of the alphabet do we have here?
Looks like an R.
Yeah. You guys are getting awfully sick of me asking these questions. Anyway, M, so momentum divergence, Willie stupid, M, not a big surprise to see price drift down. And gee whiz, look where it stopped drifting. Isn't that cool? I mean, the irony of it all, right, is here, Joe Sixpack, seeing this, they're going to be like, fucking the sky's falling. Ah, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? But the irony of it all is now that you know the reload zone tool, you can get a pretty good idea of where sort of the soft landing might come in. So really cool stuff. Even just off of the hourly chart, this stuff is totally relevant. All right.
Good deal.
Else? Right. And you know, investors out there, because there's just such limited data, there's not really much I can comment on here off of the higher time frames.
Right on. Well, I guess we can probably wrap up on that note. Where are you going? Yep, we're a little over time. So I guess I'll just finish out by saying if you like the charts that you see here, definitely check out Coinigy.com. We're a lot more than just charts. Also, you can connect your exchange accounts directly and actually trade on the charts. And we have a lot of cool apps and tools. And definitely check out Brian's school, which I'm sure he'll be happy to tell you a little bit more about right now.
I guess when's our next term? Probably not till May or so. So I'm not, you know, if you are interested in learning, you know, to control your behavior in the marketplace, appropriate risk, trying to build setups, and just really frame your behavior on a day-to-day basis where you're just coming and running a small business. That's kind of what we do in our school as well. Really, really big fans of PMA. You know, Alex and I are Canadians, so by default, we don't really have a choice. We have to be nice. I think it's built into our DNA somewhere. So a lot of our community is really just really good people that really actually come to work. Like I said, Chris earlier today, first thing in the morning, hey guys, look at this bullish bot. What do you think? Is it something that we can trade? And those that were interested in the setup took it, right? Which is really cool. Basically in the market, constantly trading everything under the sun. We've got like short bank positions now. We've got, what else are we doing? We're long bonds in the States, crazy trade there. Pharmaceutical stocks. It's interesting, we got this one Canadian pharmaceutical stock, and it's rallying because Trump is crapping on U.S. pharma stocks right now. So interesting cross-border plays going on in the world. So lots of different moving parts. We have over 135 different cryptocurrencies. Little old ladies just coming to work, doing her thing day in, day out. If you would like to learn about what we do, feel free to pop on the site. You can PM me, just pop on the site and PM me. There I am, Brian. Ask me anything you want under the sun. I'm more than happy to give you some time and see if I can help you on your way. And as Will said, we do have a new term of the school coming up in May. Enrollment's about 30-40% right now. So not too full. If you are interested, there's still.
It'll be full by next month.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell? It's the beginning of February, right? So I mean, you guys, got to give big shout out the Karma Coinigy people. You know, you guys really are just top notch, totally professional. And I just feel such a good vibe working with you. Alex, of course, hugs and kisses. I'd come out and kiss your cows if I could. You know, I want Jumbox to do totally awesome. Great meeting you, new gentlemen, tonight. I hope we're going to build an awesome relationship going forward. And maybe one day, you know, Alex, every once in a while, has me as a guest on his show. Maybe if I'm really lucky, I could maybe make a cameo appearance on Steve's show. Who knows? What the hell?
You definitely have to come on. You're welcome whenever you want.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
You know, I would love to hear Ryan on Steve's show and just talk about your background as a trader and stuff. I'm sure you have just crazy stories over the years.
Oh, yeah. All right, I've talked too much as always. I apologize, but great having spend some time with you guys tonight. I'm done.
Likewise.
Off to Alex now.
All right. Yeah, you can check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Blocktalk. And I do lots of cool interviews with different projects. If you want to learn more about the chart that you're trading, usually I got some pretty good details. We dive right into the business of it, or learn more about the network, so we can go beyond what just the token is. I'm also a community manager for Jumbucks, but it's we're now on our new network called Ubic. And I got to thank everyone who's participating in the network right now, because we have an amazing amount of like network participation. We're at about like 1% of the Ethereum network. So we did not expect to have this much hash rate, and we're extremely thankful for it. It's definitely putting a lot of tests on our code, and we're making some final adjustments before reopening the market.
Awesome. So I'm going to be thankful that I didn't get any further fills before the reorganization. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, you're going to be happy. I think like the new network is going really well, and I think.
Awesome. I'm so proud of you, Alex. And if anybody deserves success in this space, it's you, man. So hats off to you.
Thanks, Brian.
Definitely.
Hats off.
I take my hat off, but it's actually really dirty hair, so I'm not going to. Hats off virtually.
All right. I'll take it.
Yeah. No, I mean, you guys, I love coming in and doing these shows with you guys. You guys are awesome. So totally.
Hey, right back at you. Likewise. Cool. So, okay, on that note, I think I'll just wrap her up here. Thank you for watching. We'll see you 2 weeks from tonight, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. No idea what time in Europe or China.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, 5 o'clock somewhere. 2 weeks from tonight, we'll see you again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out Coinigy. Check out The Rational Investor. Check out Blocktalk. Check out Steve's show, The Blockchain Show. And we'll see you next time. So thanks for watching, and happy trails.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.